Hello everyone, my name is Daniel and this is the energy of the week of the 20th of November 2023. So this is gonna be a series of video, let me know what you think, of explaining how the planets are moving in relationship to the Earth from the perspective of therapeutic karmic astrology, and we'll see. So last week we had the Sun conjunction Mars in Scorpio. The Sun, our masculine energy, Mars, the energy of action, together in the sign of power, is on a personal level a very empowering energy of beginning. On a collective level, it can feel very intense, explosive, so a lot of energy for beginning, for doing it right now, in opposition to Uranus in Taurus, that felt like this rush of taking action. So again, from a perspective of a personal astrology, this can be an energy that says, okay, after hitting rock bottom, you are doing the most you can to resurface, to rebirth, to start something amazing. On a collective level, it can feel very explosive with social movements and whatever. So this week we begin 20th of November with the Sun and Mars still together, working in the last degrees of Scorpio. And what they do is they both make a sextile to Pluto. Pluto is the planet of Scorpio, is the planet of power in the last degrees of Capricorn. So this is a very empowering energy that says you have the power to do this. You have the power to overcome this. You have the power of action. They are in resonance. The energy of Capricorn, the Pluto in Capricorn in resonance to the planets that it rules in Scorpio. Amazing to make it a week where you connect with people of power, where you have the very important meetings, where you create strategies for the future, where you plan, connect. Perfect. Another thing that happens this week is that we have a crescent moon in Pisces. That means that we've just passed 1 week from the new moon in Scorpio, and we're going towards the full moon in Gemini. So this crescent moon talks about, okay, after setting the intention I had in this new moon of transformation, I have to make it happen. Especially because this is a moon that right now is next to Saturn. Saturn is the planet of limits. Says, okay, you want to manifest? Start to fucking do it. What are you waiting for? You have to do it. Step by step. That mature energy that sometimes like it feels like weight in our body. It's also this energy that says, stand up. Do it. This is for you. Start working for your intentions. And Saturn is going to be the main actor of next week's full moon in Gemini. Usually a full moon in Gemini is that moment of the year that we want to express something, but Saturn says, okay, no limits. Mars is gonna be next to the Sun in Sagittarius, that is this super hyper energy, and facing the full moon in Gemini, but in a square to Saturn that says, okay, be mindful with your words, be mindful with what you promise. There are consequences of you expressing too much, saying too much, promising too much, like releasing too much energy. So this week, let's work with that energy. Let's be mindful with what we say. Let's be thorough with what we promise. Let's be Saturn, So it feels like very Saturn week. Duties, duties, duties. Then on the 22nd, the Sun jumps into Sagittarius, and when the Sun jumps into Sagittarius, we have Sagittarius season. Amazing. The month of miracles, the month of parties and celebrations, this energy that wants to like be everywhere, and then Mars jumps into Sagittarius, and when Mars jumps into Sagittarius, Mars loves to be in Sagittarius, is that where we have so much energy. We want to go for a run, we want to do this, we want to go for a hike, and they're still together. So there is this very extra Sagittarius energy, but at the same time, they both square Saturn in Pisces. That says, no, not this time. You want to do a lot of things, but life says no. Life says limits, limits, limits. limits, responsibility, because there are consequences. So this is not like any other Sagittarius season, and this is the first Sagittarius season that we have Saturn placing limits to it. So we're starting to understand this energy of Saturn in Pisces that says you have to put the limits where they were none. You know that Sagittarius Pisces energy sometimes has a tendency of avoidance, of drifting away. And right now with Saturn as an actor, it's like you cannot drift away. You have to be mindful. You have to be thorough. You have to place limits. So yeah, we're gonna feel that energy this week and next week, since it's gonna be part of the full moon in Gemini. Another thing that happens this week is that we have Chiron in a trine to Mercury in Sagittarius, and this is a very fluid energy when we want to express something, when we want to have these deep talks about maybe we're expressing our wounds or insecurity, a point of view, and it's inspiring others. That's why it's a very charismatic energy with an opportunity of having healing conversations or inspiring other people. But at the same time, Chiron is in opposition to Venus. And an opposition in astrology feels like a relationship, not necessarily a romantic relationship, but an external energy facing you. So in this case, Chiron facing Venus in Libra feels like through our relationships, we're not feeling either valued, we're not feeling completely like worthy, we might be seeing our insecurities, we might be feeling less. So this configuration that we have between Mercury, Venus, and Chiron can be like, oh, I saw my insecurities in relationships and I try to express it, and that can take me to a place of healing. Or Mercury in Sagittarius is not the most mindful Mercury, because it has this tendency of sharing their truth, sometimes way too honest. So throughout my relationships, me or the other person could have said a very hard truth that made me feel that I'm not worthy, or made me see my own insecurities, lack of value. Either way, the way this energy can manifest in your life, it's according to your state of consciousness and also what you need to learn in this process, throughout this process. Venus is approaching the south node, so this is very important. The south node of karma is that drain where we need to release something, so it's showing us part of the dynamics in our relationships that no longer work. That, okay, that I thought that person said that to trigger my insecurity, but it's like, no, baby, no. You already had that insecurity. You already had that type of attachment. You already had that type of dynamic in your relationships. And right now, life is telling you, maybe it's you that you need to change. Relationships are always mirrors, and they are showing us this week and next week situations that no longer work, where we need to be more assertive, where we need to be more Aries because the North Node is in Aries, where we need to play like our limits, where we need to stand up for our worth, and where we need to slowly let go that Libra energy that is a low vibration, that is like codependency, compliancy, pretending that everything is fine and it's okay when it's not, or us adapting so much into the other. So this week, our relationships, our connections can be something that push us for breakthroughs. You can feel triggered, or you can use that trigger as an opportunity of healing, over understanding this part of yourself that needs to end, that needs to be released. So the last thing that happens is that we are approaching the moment where Venus falls into the south node. Venus technically is in conjunct of the south node this week. So this means that this and next week we might be seeing people reappearing from our past, in our memories, in our thoughts, in our presence. Not necessarily a romantic energy, can be like people from the past or people from a karmic past. We can be remembering someone, like, or people like might be bringing them into the conversation, or we might be dreaming of them. But also, I think this is showing us something that needs to be released, something that needs to be let go. When Venus falls into the south node, all these situations in relationships that are showing us, they're also showing us a part of us that no longer is aligned towards our evolution. So maybe your ex comes, but for you to forgive them, for you to like close that chapter. Or maybe you remember that you had a fight with your best friend, and that's an opportunity to realize, okay, maybe there's a part of me that has a place in that quarrel, but maybe not anymore. I can release it, I can transform it. You will know, because relationships this and next week will show you that part that is no longer aligned to the person that you want to be, and maybe what you can do to start embodying that energy, to realize there are patterns in our behavior that are not aligned towards our evolution. And right now could be a perfect moment to see them, to understand them, and to slowly decide how to let them go. So I hope all this information is good for you, and let me know what you think about the energy of the week.